This gang of bandits was gearing up for action, plotting to ambush a passing merchant caravan. Under the leader's strategy, Monk was tasked with tailing the target. Using a wooden fish as the signal, Chulban would then cut the rope, ensnaring them all in one fell swoop, setting the stage for the chief, Sayong, to make a grand entrance, his kick supposedly settling the matter once and for all. However, while their plans were grand, reality proved to be much leaner. Just as they were about to strike, the lookout, Monk, spotted an army approaching from behind. Sensing trouble, he urgently signaled to abort the mission. But the newcomer, Chulban, got it all wrong. Flashing a heart-shaped gesture, he swung his axe with gusto, only to find his net catching nothing but air. The sight left their comrades in ambush dumbfounded. Scattering in panic, unaware of the turn of events, the leader descended from the skies, ready to make a splash. But the very next second, the bewildered soldiers faced Sayong, who found himself in an utterly awkward predicament. But Chulban's disastrously eager moves were yet to play their part. Carrying a broadsword, he charged from behind. The two looked at each other in disbelief. Sayong thought, "My God, how could I have such foolish teammates?" But by then, their only option was to turn and make a swift escape. Seeing this, Chulban also took off running. At this point, the soldiers realized they were dealing with a gang of bandits and immediately pursued Sayong. Fearing the entire troop would be captured in one fell swoop, he ordered them to scatter and regroup at the mountain's peak. He himself hid behind a tree to scout the enemy but was spotted by Chulban. Catching the leader first seemed like the obvious choice, and soon, soldiers swarmed the mountainside after Sayong. Sayong wanted to escape but couldn't, all thanks to Chulban, who led the royal troops on a merry chase after their leader. By night, the scattered bandits regrouped at the mountain's peak. From an original count of 20, only 10 remained after the debacle. The blame game began. Monk protested, "I risked my neck signaling to call off the raid, but you lot, lacking any sense, went ahead with your heart gestures and leaping about." Sayong thought of the disastrous Chulban, wondering if he was an enemy spy. He should never have been recruited, but admitting this felt like acknowledging his own mistake. He reassured everyone, "It's no big deal, the soldiers are just for show. They'll head home at sundown." No sooner had he spoken than a group of soldiers burst out from behind, leaving Sayong utterly baffled. "Have we offended the heavens?" He then urged everyone to stay calm in the face of adversity, though he himself had sprinted dozens of meters away in the next moment. To uncover the reasons behind the royal troops' action, Sayong kidnapped an official from the valley below. Under Sayong's pressing, the official revealed the truth. It turned out that on the eve of the Joseon dynasty's establishment, a whale had swallowed the Ming dynasty's imperial seal, which was being brought to Joseon by a Chinese envoy. Unable to complete his mission and fearing decapitation, the envoy fabricated a story, claiming the seal and jewels were stolen by bandits. Furious, the king dispatched troops to eradicate the bandits, who became unwitting victims in this bizarre turn of events. Armed with this information, Monk and Sayong hurried back to devise a plan with their crew. In the end, they unanimously decided to set sail in search of the imperial seal and the treasure. However, as bandits completely ignorant about whales, they had no clue whether to use fishing rods or nets for the task. Chulban, on the other hand, couldn't help but laugh, seeing his chance to shine at last. Having spent a few years as a pirate before seasickness forced him into banditry, Chulban gathered everyone and, using his stick as a pen, pointed to what he claimed was a whale's eye. Sayong was skeptical, questioning how long the teeth must be if the eyes were that large. Chulban corrected him, saying whales don't have teeth but filter feed, which only earned him mockery. Sayong urged him to stop talking nonsense and get to the point on how to catch it. Monk, unable to contain himself, exclaimed that the whale's nose was on the back of its head and smacked Chulban with a wooden fish, sarcastically suggesting that next, Chulban would claim whales give birth to live young and breastfeed. Chulban, exasperated, confirmed exactly that. Frustrated with his crew's ignorance, Chulban described the ocean's vast depths and the bizarre creatures within, including a spectacular six-eyed flying fish, but Sayong was uninterested in these tales. He questioned whether a cannon could solve their problem.
한 방이요. 열대 방은 있어야 되죠.
가자. 화포 구하러.
Thus, the bandits headed to town. Meanwhile, Ye-jin was in town purchasing what she called a portable cannon, a weapon capable of precise shots within 2,000 steps, and smoke bombs that could envelop an area of 10 kilometers in fog. Ideal for confusing the enemy, the most stylish weapon was a grenade that could cause a small explosion with a toss.
수류병이라고 합니다.
Ye-jin was pleased with her purchases and ordered her men to load the car. However, upon leaving, she discovered all her provisions had been stolen by the bandits. Furious, she chased after Ye-jin for miles but ultimately couldn't catch up. The bandits, now equipped, arrived at the seaside and began to set sail towards the open sea. Everyone was excited, except for Chulban, who was gloomy, wondering how such a shabby boat could ever catch a whale. Indeed, just a day later, their water supply ran out. Desperate with thirst, Ye-jin frantically scooped up seawater to drink, even plunging his head into the sea, nearly resulting in an accident. The bandits, misunderstanding the situation, thought they had encountered a whale. Chulban hurriedly clarified it was a shark. Amidst their argument, the shark charged at them, rocking the small boat and causing one of them to fall overboard. As the shark prepared to attack again, Ye-jin grabbed a bow and arrow, firing 2 shots quickly but missing. Undeterred, Ye-jin then grabbed a spear from the boat and struck the shark squarely, causing it to howl in pain and speed away, pulling the boat along as if it had an engine installed. Meanwhile, on a larger ship, the pirate Soma was boasting about his vessel being the fastest warship in the world, but the next second,
나에겐 세상에서 가장 빠른 배가 방금 너가 지나간 거.
seeing the bandits' boat riding the waves, Soma was astonished. What the heck is happening? I thought my ship was the fastest in the world. The bandits, still trembling from their shark encounter, decided they couldn't just sit and wait. Ye-jin prepared to use a rocket launcher to take out the shark, but the small boat was too unsteady, and a misfired cannonball hit Soma's ship, breaking its mast. As the 2 ships were about to collide, the shark's sudden acceleration saved them from disaster. Watching the bandits attempting to flee after firing their cannon, Soma ordered his men to fire back, but the cannonballs couldn't catch up to the speed of their escape. This only made Soma angrier. After some time, the small boat gradually came to a stop, and the shark, exhausted, floated belly up on the surface, dead from fatigue. The bandits suddenly felt accomplished again.
저건 사고야!
Chulban began to explain that if a whale was a python, then this shark was merely a small earthworm. Everyone was dumbfounded, realizing they had been busy for nothing. Ye-jin ordered the ship to be repaired for another departure, but nearby, Monk, struggling with his craving for alcohol, couldn't open the bottle cap despite his efforts. Frustrated, he threw it behind him. Crack! There went the ship. Left without a vessel, the bandits resorted to stealing a warship, and to their surprise, they succeeded. Aboard the stolen ship, gazing out at the vast sea, they felt their horizons broaden. Seams were naturally cut out for piracy. Doesn't anyone get seasick on such a big ship?
저 중생이 진짜로 해적이었다면 소생은 부처였어. 아니 빨리 기술 전수받고 죽여버려야겠습니다. 저게 서해니까 가닿긴 합니까 저게?
Just then, a whale leaped out of the water, leaving everyone in stunned silence. Seeing is believing, they finally accepted Chulban's words. Yet, Chulban added that this whale was merely a calf. A full-grown whale's thing is bigger than us, he said, instantly deflating everyone's egos. Ye-jin, grabbing Chulban, exclaimed, "With whales this big, you should have stopped us from setting sail." Chulban, feeling wronged, replied, "I did tell you, but you wouldn't listen." As Chulban talked back, the crew pounced on him, delivering a beating. After venting their frustrations, they lay on the ship, ready to head back. On the other side, Soma and Ye-jin encountered each other at sea. As fellow pirates, they wanted to clash to see who was the real boss. Just as tensions peaked, a military ship slowly passed by, with the unwitting Ye-jin greeting Ye-jin. Ye-jin, who had just been worrying that her cannons might not measure up to Soma's, now saw an opportunity to use someone else to take the bullets for her. At her command, they charged towards Soma's ship. Engaging in a melee, Soma's cannons ended up hitting the military ship. Ye-jin, irritated, shouted and rushed to confront Soma, but Soma's hairstyle wasn't just for show. Even together, they couldn't best him. Ye-jin nearly got skewered through and through. Ye-jin, seeing the futility, suddenly switched sides, praising Soma and even embracing his man, and insisted on acknowledging Soma as the big brother, completely bewildering Soma with "Wait, don't I recognize you? Weren't you the one who fired a rocket at my ship?" Eventually, Sayoung and Yeowol were locked together and thrown into the sea for the sharks. Luckily, their fortunes were large, and the waves carried them to a nearby island. However, Yeowol, severely injured, fell unconscious, so Sayoung started looking for herbs. He slowly undid Yeowol's clothes and applied the dark herbal paste. Gazing at the unconscious beauty before him, Sayoung felt himself falling in love. When Yeowol awoke to find her wounds treated with herbs, she realized Sayoung had saved her, but Sayoung's antics in his sleep, scratching an itch and then putting his hand to his mouth, disgusted Yeowol enough to slap him. They tried to break their chains with stones, but to no avail. An urgent Sayoung needed to urinate, leading Yeowol to suggest they head to the sea to avoid discomfort and infections. Much more practical. That night, Sayoung, single for 30 years, turned on the charm, making Yeowol blush. Feeling the pressure, she too wanted to relieve herself.
좀도둑이 해적단 대단주를 희롱하는구나.
Feeling undervalued, Sayoung started boasting about being a bandit leader with a bounty of 20 taels on his head. Yeowol scoffed, revealing her bounty was 50 taels, more than double his. Unimpressed by the bounty comparison, they started comparing battle scars and exploits, each trying to outdo the other with tales of their conquests. Just as Yeowol was about to show off another scar, she paused, sensing something amiss. Sayoung, caught off guard, tried to shift the topic to his scars, but Yeowol realized he was bragging. Just as they were about to argue further, a large ship appeared. It turned out to be Monk, who had managed to escape. After being rescued, the two decided to seek revenge on Soma. Soma's ship had been commandeered by the military to participate in the hunt for the whale that had ingested the national jade seal. They first captured a baby whale and used it as bait, drawing its mother in a desperate rescue attempt, which played right into Soma's cunning trap. As the whale approached, a barrage of cannon fire inflicted heavy damage, with the mother whale crashing hard against the ship. The one-eyed general quickly ordered the launch of grappling hooks, aiming to drag the whale back to land and even contemplating killing Soma to claim all the glory for himself. Just when the situation was most critical, their ship came under fire. It turned out to be Yeowol and her crew returning for vengeance. As a child of the sea, Yeowol's first act was to rescue the captured mother whale. Though it was already lifeless, the sea was its rightful resting place. Seeing their chance at the imperial seal slip away, the furious one-eyed officer knocked Yeowol to the ground. Just as he was about to execute her, Soma intervened. Meanwhile, Sayoung, arriving late to the scene, finally sounded the charge. He launched a grenade into the sky, and Yeowol, coordinating perfectly, fired arrows to ignite them, causing a fiery explosion that engulfed the ship. Together, they fought off their enemies. Despite it being their first time fighting side by side, their coordination was seamless. Eventually, Yeowol pinned Soma to a column, and Sayoung nailed the officer to the deck. Before the ship's gunpowder exploded, Sayoung and Yeowol led their crew into the sea. In the movie's finale, Sayoung turns into a pirate as part of his quest for love. See you next time.